Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Orlando. We have another situation between landlord and tenant, right? We're gonna learn a lot today. In this scenario, we have the landlord and tenant accusing each other of being drug users. Who's gonna win out on this one? Let's jump into it.
Plaintiff Landon now rented a two-bedroom apartment to the defendants. And after they moved in, there was a lot of police activity at the home. Landon claims he evicted the defendants, and he's suing them today for unpaid rent.
Well, of course, landlord not being paid rent, that's the reason why he's in court. That's not so abnormal, right? Having a lot of issues with the police at your property. Once again, guys, if you are having issues with, problems with the police being at your property, you can evict someone because they are causing an issue with safety for your other tenants. So let's see if that's the premise he's going on.
Defendants Jillian Iokis and Christopher Hunter say Landon is a slumlord meth addict who tried to sell them drugs within the first month they lived there. Christopher claims they withheld their rent because Landon failed to repair the property.
Okay, the drug use thing, we'll see how that plays out. I'm not touching that yet. But not paying someone because they're not fixing up the property, that's gonna get sticky as well. In every state, it may be different, but here, you can't really get away with that, saying that, oh, the landlord didn't fix X, Y, and Z, so that's the reason why you stopped paying rent. You can't get away with that, guys. You can't. As a tenant, you can't get away with that. But let's see how this plays out.
Start with you.
Okay, from a current tenant, I was referred to them guys that they didn't have a place to live and they needed a place at the time immediately. I had a two-bedroom apartment that was available. They rented it at the time. I had a couple tenants the first month have complaints that there was police activity.
What was your agreement with them on the amount?
$600 a month.
All right. And you had complaints the first month?
See, this is where the landlord messed up first. It's okay to get referrals, guys. It's very okay to get referrals, especially if you trust the individual. But I can almost guarantee you he didn't do any background checks. He probably just slid them right into his property. And now he's surprised that he has issues with them. Well, if you don't do background checks on them, you don't do credit checks, you don't do the things necessary to make sure that they're good tenants, you're probably going to have issues.
Yes, there was noise and there was some, just a lot of noise and a cop present.
What do you all want to tell me?
No, first of all, that's not true. This man is a meth addict. We heard by multiple people in this same neighborhood that he has been using drugs. We thought there was something off with him. He was really off, spacey, jittery.
Talking really fast, He
even offered to sell us drugs within the first month.
He also owns a hotel room across from our house where all tenants are either drug addicts or disabled people he knows he can take advantage of.
Now, I'm not, hey, look, I'm just saying, these guys are talking fast, seem a little bit jittery themselves, and they seem to know where all the hot spots are for drugs and disabled and know all this information. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So for them to say that he tried to sell them drugs and they know all of this information is a little bit suspect to me. Just a little bit, guys.
He's out there being a slumlord and he's getting away with it. And we're just the people that
we just didn't stand for it because we aren't
let him walk all over us.
So why don't you tell me about their failure to pay rent? Let's get to that.
Okay, they were inconsistent from May to August.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
And you have a list of the deficits that they failed
Yes.
to pay? Let's have them, please.
Okay.
I'll read. And when you mentioned failure to pay to them, what would they tell you? All those months? Or?
Always would tell me that they were going to pay and they had money coming.
I just like how they said, we're just the heroes in this story. He's a slumlord, and we just stood up to him and told him, you know what? We're not taking you being a slumlord anymore. We're not taking it. We're the people who actually stood up to you. Sounds like a great story, right? It really does. It really does. I mean, both of them may be shady. At least, it's kind of looking that way now, but I'm telling you, these guys are really throwing it on here. And of course, they didn't pay rent. They didn't stop paying rent because he didn't fix up everything.
All right, let me hear from you all about the payment of rent. He has shown me from May of 17 through September of 17, you had deficiencies.
Well, we
definitely have proof and receipts of everything. Here. We paid up until July. And the reason why we stopped paying in July.
Let's start there.
We paid the full amount up until July.
When we were
Like I
noticing
said,
he wasn't fixing anything,
we
we
got
tried to
sick of
get
it.
back
Got
and
you.
forth.
Let's start with what she just told me.
Hey guys, let's see what they have. I'm pretty sure they have compelling information, copies of checks, money orders showing that they've made payments on full rents and everything. So, hey, let's just see what they got.
She said the full amount. And was the rent $500 or $600?
600.
I have one for $500. I have one for $400, and I have one for $570. And then we do have 2 paid in full. So, unlike what you told me, I have only 2 out of the 5 that were paid in full. So how do you want to explain that?
Well,
You just told me all of it was paid.
we were paid up until July. It even says in the receipt that
Ma'am,
he
I'm
gave
looking.
us.
You're the one handed me the receipts.
She handed the receipts. The rent is $600 and they're all like $20, $30. Some of them are $100 short on the rent. And this is the thing that you guys have to understand when it comes to being a landlord and tenants. Tenants will sometimes pay you short and think, oh, it's just $30. Oh, it's just $40. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You have to hold their feet to the fire. You either pay me all of my money or you will get late fees and everything associated with it. Sometimes tenants think, hey, you're $20 short. Don't put a late fee on there. No, it doesn't work that way. I get all of the money or you get everything attached to it, late fees and everything. You have not paid rent.
I'm looking. May, you only paid $500. June, you only paid $400. So when did you start paying full?
I'm sure
The first 2 months were full.
I mean,
All right, you told me all were full, didn't you?
I'm sorry. I thought that they were.
People think they can hand me stuff and I ain't gonna read it. See here, Dad, it's on there. It's on there. Look at it. Yeah, I looked at it. Now, why didn't
She's giving this man all types of stuff, Judge Mathis, and she thinks he's not going to read it. And they're just like, yeah, you got to take their word, right? You got to take their word. She paid every month on time, full amount. She was never late at all, right? And then when Judge Mathis reads it, then she's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Well, you just stated through this whole case, I've been making payments on time and he's a slumlord. Come on now. Come on.
you pay the rest?
the reason why I didn't pay rent, and I work really hard I know it's not much money, but to give him money. And it's surprising to hear, well, if we weren't paying him in full, why'd we get evicted now? Why would it be, okay, all those other months, but then all of a sudden you want to
Because he knew what he was doing was wrong and what we were living in was wrong.
Our living conditions were ridiculous, okay? The living room ceiling, it rained one time. I mean, as soon as we moved in, it was leaking.
He
There was
wrote
a
it in the
hole
lease.
in the ceiling that he was going to fix these problems within
prior
the first
to
couple
moving
months.
in. But
If you look at Judge Mathis, she's like, okay. So this is the reason why you didn't pay rent. It's because the roof was leaking and you decided, well, previously when you look at all the months before, you weren't paying full rent too. So what was happening back then? I mean, this is a thing where you just listen to stories that of someone not being accountable, guys, accountable to the issues that they have, whatever it may be. These tenants aren't being accountable, okay? So that's where this issue starts with, them being accountable.
then we pay him and all of a sudden he never would show up.
Okay, you have a list of things that you asked to be repaired.
But then we called the city inspector in July and asked the inspector to check out this place because we felt like it was untenable. And he was disgusted when he saw it and wrote him up with 7 different violations.
You have
because it was
those,
so
copy of the
disgusting.
violations?
Yeah.
So what do you say to this? They said, in part, they failed to pay or they withheld their rent because you failed to make the promised repairs.
Untrue. I have all the text messages.
So now we're going to get into the list of things, or they're saying that they went to the city and the city said this place is inhabitable for someone to live in. It's a safety hazard. Now, normally in leases, and just in states and locales, you do have to provide a place that's livable for your tenants, right? That makes sense. That's common sense. So if this is the reason why they stopped paying rent, this could be a legitimate reason. Let's see what it comes out to be.
Showing that I've multiple times tried to get a hold of them to get.
What about that message about $45 for weed? What about that message?
Yeah,
have that? 'Cause I have that one right here.
Now, let's leave all this drug stuff alone. I don't know who's on drugs. One side is and the other side is talking too fast. And I don't know who's on drugs. Now, let's leave all that alone. Because I know some signs I'm seeing all across the board now. So let's just stop that.
Judge Mathis is crazy because it's true. Both sides. One guy is reading all slow, the landlord, and then like I stated earlier with the other group, they're reading all fast and they're jittery, and they literally said that they gave the signs of someone that's on drugs and they're doing it themselves. So I don't know. And they seem to be only want to talk about the drugs and not talk about the missed rent or the repairs that they said that needed to be done. That should be the focus of this, not the drug activity stuff, which is he said, she said.
It's a known meth
Okay,
addict,
sir, what do you have?
Yeah, I got text messages showing multiple.
Showing what?
Asking them to come in there and repair the
And what
fixes.
did they say?
They kept on putting me off.
Asking if you could come in and make the repairs.
Yes.
That's
many
what you
times.
have.
Many times.
And you have their response.
Yes, the response and the
I
other.
see it.
It's one of the two, yeah.
Can we show you what needed to
Hit
be
me
repaired?
back when you get this need to collect rent. I need to collect rent. I have the renters upstairs, but I want to come in.
So he said he sent over some text messages. Once again, let's see where this builds up. Maybe he actually has, he tried to get in contact with him and it didn't work out or whatnot. But I do want to say, guys, look, if you are trying to get into a unit and your tenant and there's some things that are damaging, like a hole in the roof, I will give 24 hours before I go in. I'm going to go in 24 hours and fix something that's going to destroy my property. It is your investment. You have to make sure you go in, give them 24 hours. It should be in your lease that they sign, and you should go in and fix those type of issues.
Your apartment to get the ceiling repaired.
Okay.
It says nothing about the bathroom and the nasty
Yeah,
black
you
mold.
said ain't
We were
answer
always
anything.
available.
The
That's
main
not
thing you
true.
mentioned was ceiling, and he was asking you if he could come in and repair it.
Right.
What's up, man? I got 400 today, right now, and I can do Thursday the 20th for you to come fix the repairs.
Wow,
and I'll have, pardon me?
The date that he didn't show up was Thursday the 20th.
Whatever it was, you act like he didn't want to at all, remember?
He
That's how
said
your
he-
whole
Judge Mathis is going to get on them, man. They are focused on they're never focused on whatever the subject that the judge is talking about.
Don't do drugs.
First, it was the hole in the roof. Then now he's talking about the hole in the roof. Now they're talking about bathroom stuff. Stay on subject. Stay on subject.
testimony has
He
been
said he would,
did
but then
not
didn't.
want to repair them, and here it is. He's saying to you, trying to get in, you telling him, assuring him that you're going to pay him. You didn't say, I'm withholding this money. You said, I will have $400 today.
And I gave that.
Right now.
Right.
But this is much different from saying these repairs aren't made. What you telling me today? We didn't pay him, Your Honor, because the repairs, because the ceiling.
They're saying, hey, look, we didn't want to pay the guy because it was unsafe. The roof was going to fall in on us. But then when you look at the text messages, it says a complete different story. It sounds like he tried to come in to repair the property. Like I said, that everyone should. It's your property, right? Why would you want the roof to cave in from water damage? It's your property. Then they also stated that they were going to pay him his rent, which they owed him, versus what they're saying in court, guys. Remember, if you are going to take someone, a landlord especially, you have to prove the point of the reason why you didn't pay rent or that you tried to pay rent or whatever the situation is. You have to go in there with a concise story that makes sense.
Was this.
I mean,
and the
it
such
was.
and such with that.
Let's take a
And
look
then
at
He
it.
Yes.
never repaired.
Okay.
And then he hands me the text where he tried to. And you give him some game. And you assure him, come get your money. I got it right now. I got your money. I got you. But you don't say, I'm not giving you a dime until you make the repairs.
Right.
You didn't say that. You're saying that now, but you didn't say that on June 15th.
But he didn't meet up Thursday the 20th. He did.
I
That's what
got you.
didn't
I
come
know,
then.
but you
He would
wouldn't have-
make attempts, but
What is the point of arguing that he didn't come there when your whole point of the whole entire case is that, hey, look, this guy didn't come in. This guy was letting us live in shambles. The roof needed to be repaired. He didn't repair it. And, that's the reason why we stopped paying rent. Oh, he didn't come on that day. But do you have proof that he didn't come that day? Well, let's see if they do. But it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it.
never actually
Yeah,
come
you don't
through.
promise people you're going to pay them if you're withholding your rent for the purpose of getting the repairs done. You wouldn't even give them a date. Anyhow, you have the details of the violation. They're on this other report. And did you get this from the city?
I didn't get it until this last month. I talked to the building inspector. He said they were calling. He says the only time I ever get calls is when people owe money on rent and they call me. He goes,
Got
that's
it.
what he said to me.
And
So
that is the case.
And that is the case in this story, like Judge Mathis was about to say. They're going to send, a list of stuff so they can have some type of paperwork that backs up their story of reason why they didn't pay rent. Now, when you look at these guys, like, you can obviously tell there's something going on in the background, the drug use, the other stuff like that. Who knows the reason why they're not paying their rent? They don't have the money. Maybe they're using their money on drug use. Maybe they're using their money on buying motorcycles. I don't know. But we all know the truth and the fact is they're not paying their rent. They're not even paying the full amount when they make payments. $400 on a $600 monthly rent, you're $200 less. That adds up month over month. And the person will get, it snowballs into something that if they can't make $600 payments, do you think they're going to be able to make up $1,000 worth of payments in 6 months or 5 months or whatever that is, right? Probably not.
In many instances, that is a way to get out of your rental debt, is you say you got repairs and you go to the court says, okay, sir, you got 30 days to make the repairs, and folks, you don't pay them until the 30 days. So they bought a month. Boom. Time that 30 days go by, they go back to court. This still ain't quite right, Judge. Okay, let me see the pictures. And then the landlord says, let me see. And then they look at it. They say, yeah, it is right. It's corrected.
See, and Judge Mathis kind of given some game here when it comes to the court system being abused by tenants. Now, we can't say that this is a situation all the time, right? But it does happen frequently where tenants will owe rent and they will go to the city, claim, this is the reason why I haven't paid rent. And then it buys them some extra time. And then, at the end of the day, you going back and forth with the court. And next thing you know, it's 90 days into it and they still haven't paid rent. And then what will happen at the end of the day? They'll just move out. And you will be chasing this tenant forever, basically, trying to get rent from them, getting the back rent that they owed you. But they stayed in the unit for 90 extra days. That was based on a court order because they knew how to do the game. This is the reason why it's so important, guys, to make sure you pick your tenants right.
Now you have 7 days or the sheriff is coming over there to set your things out. I understand this is game now. I've seen this 1,000 times. That's what the judges say. At least that's what I used to say when they would come before me and they pay every month. But when it's time to leave, look at this. Look at that. Well, why didn't you repair, sir? Because they wouldn't let me in, yeah. Happens all the time, and I have the text where you all wouldn't.
We also have other texts where he was supposed to meet up with us and didn't.
Right.
So we have proof otherwise.
I mean, are you guys compelled by this story that this guy is trying to tell? I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's obvious that they're trying to milk and milk and milk and say that the reason why, even though the judge just got done telling them how it's played, how the game is played when it comes to fixing up stuff, especially when they have proof. When he has proof through text messages that it was the opposite, these guys are still trying to wring it out and say, look, judge, he still didn't fix it. Give us extra time. The judge just told you. He's seen it time and time again. You're not going to get anywhere with that, but they're going to still try.
Let me see it, please, regarding the repairs. You mentioned the repairs? Are the repairs mentioned in that text that you're referring to?
Right.
They are?
Yeah, at the bottom here. We can't have this baby around all this mold.
Okay, good. This is what we're going to do. Because the judge had moved.
Yeah, can we show you how bad the damages are, please?
Let's see it, please.
Please, because, I mean...
This has definitely been a problem.
I'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning going to work.
It wasn't about us not being able to pay rent.
It was disgusting,
We were
Your Honor.
just choosing to...
It wasn't about them not paying rent and not that they didn't want to pay rent. So let's see what these pictures show. Let's go ahead and see what it is. They're saying it has nothing to do. They had the money. But we have seen, why did you pay the rent before the repair stuff, right? So we saw that they didn't make payments on time. They didn't make the right amount of payments, but it was never about them not wanting to pay rent.
Not pay rent.
It is about you not paying rent, ma'am. He said, come get the $400 right now.
Because that's the only way we thought we'd be able to get him.
That's enough. That's enough. You give me the impression you're the one on dope. I'll be very honest. Yes, she does. Like you all accuse him of being on crystal meth, yes, I'm accusing her of being on some drugs. She keeps doing this. She won't stop talking when I talk. She appears to be on drugs.
Judge Mathis is crazy, man. I mean, she is showing the signs. I mean, she did accuse him. And like I said earlier, that is the case. She was talking all fast. She is doing that thing with the mouth and all that other stuff, right? she is doing all of that, so who knows? I don't want to accuse the lady, but she does have some sides of that, and they just keep talking. Even though the judge has told them, hey, look, it is about you guys not paying rent. You guys are here because you don't want to pay the man his rent. If you guys paid the man his rent and you were suing him for the living conditions after you fully paid rent, then you could say that. But you never paid rent on time, never paid the right amount of rent at all. So, so you're already behind on rent, and then you stop paying rent for months. Come on.
So that's why I told y'all, leave this drug stuff alone.
Well, he's the
I
drug
know
addict.
it when I see it.
Right, whatever.
Right.
What's he over there saying now? You all can't be trusted. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I mean, you guys had to see that they were going to lose this. Something is different with these tenants. They're obviously not in a great place. They're jittery. Who knows what's going on? They couldn't stay on topic. So that's why they lost this one. But let's continue on and see what happened at the end of this, what they said to each other.
Nothing. Wasting my time. I shouldn't have helped you guys out.
Would you pay to live in a place like that? Would
That
you
was
live in somewhere like
disgusting. A
that?
person that's pregnant, you knew
You're nasty,
that I was pregnant.
dude. You live like that, don't you? Black
You only
mold
came
all on your
around when
top.
you wanted money, not to help us.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, once again, the reason why these type of videos are so important is I need it to be drilled into people's head when you get into real estate that make sure that you do background checks on your tenant. Make sure that you do all the necessary things, because if you don't do all the necessary things, background check, employment check, all of those things, then you can end up with tenants like this. And once again, if this isn't for you as far as doing this independently, hire a property management team that will do this for you. So once again, guys, I hope you got value out of this content. I'm gonna need you to watch this next video here. It will help you get into your first rental property and learn all things financial. Also too, please join my membership, join our community. We talk about all types of things. You will enjoy it. Thanks.